Hello, kids.
Hi, chickens.
Welcome back.
We're so
to
back.
A place where women talk about their thoughts,
About girls.
about their girls, about those girls' feelings,
Those girls in history.
about their thoughts on the girls whose histories we're reading.
About a girl who's perhaps so wrapped with guilt that it's manifesting in different ways now.
So perhaps like sometimes a child should maybe like not be given so many responsibilities when they're young,
Yeah.
and maybe the guilt will overweigh and overshadow everything that happens.
And she'll put all her feelings towards abandoning her sister onto a dog.
It could be
Or a wolf. It's hard to tell.
something like that. A little like mixed breed.
I meant to look it up. I assume, yes, wolves and dogs can breed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's how you get those like wolf.
Like dire wolf. No, those are bigger than regular wolves.
Yeah,
right?
that's how you get the like. In Minnesota, there was like a problem.
Like wolf
Occasionally,
dogs.
yeah, where basically like they don't have the same like level of domestication because they have like the wolf.
They got that wolf in them.
Yeah, and they get really big. Like you'll think you have like a German Shepherd-esque type dog, and then all of a sudden it's like triple the size it should be, and like
Because wolves
hard
are a
to
lot
train.
bigger than you think, right?
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah.
And they're very beautiful.
I do like wolves.
Well, you guys, horse girls are over party in this book.
It's dog girl time.
It's dog girl time.
I really like this one.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I was like, I think I texted you. I cried at the end.
Yeah, it's a bittersweet.
She essentially fostered a dog, which is what, as you guys have seen famously, I think with at least 2 of my fosters I've done.
But yes, so it's Kaya fosters a dog.
Yeah,
Kaya and the lone dog. Well, Kaya and lone dog.
Kaya and lone dog.
A friendship story.
A friendship story. We were wrong about what would happen in this book. We
Yeah.
thought lone dog was the Wyakin. It's not.
Yeah. Although,
Is it?
I don't think it's that dog specifically.
But you think it's going to be a dog?
Oh, I think one of them.
Oh.
Also, I'm pretty sure the merchandise gave me a crazy spoiler for the last book the other day, but I won't say anything now. But I was looking at it and I was like, yeah, I'm looking directly at this.
Her sets are very cool, anyway.
Her sets are very cool. The dog is very cute. Did you look up the dog toy?
No, a little lone dog. Is it lone dog or is it Tatlo?
Well, there's both. There's a bunch of like double ups in
Oh yeah, they were like,
Kaya's
you know what?
stuff.
They were like, let's just see what we can. Kaya dog accessories. Really not exactly what you would expect. Too vague, maybe.
Yeah, she has one that she's the big. It's like it just looks like a wolf.
Oh, it's so cute.
And then there's a different one with a slightly different face. That's Tatlo.
I like how she doesn't care about any of the other little dogs.
No, she's like, actually, because these dogs don't have. Also, there's a different Kaya book called Kaya and the Injured Dog. There's like a bunch of spin-off Kaya short stories.
So is she a horse girl or a dog girl?
I think the problem is horse was taken away.
Mm-hmm.
Now horse feels like punishment.
Yeah.
And so
horse mocks her now.
Horse mocks her now, so now dog is her only friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man's best friend.
I think she realized that dogs will give you a type of loyalty that a horse never could.
Yeah, dogs. As a certified dog freak,
yeah, that is how I describe you.
There's something that is just like, and I'm preaching to the choir. Most people like fucking love dogs, so not like everyone's like, Caroline, this is crazy, but there's something that is so just like endearing about how dogs love people.
Yeah.
Because like they just like stare. Like I've as you guys know, and I just said, I foster dogs. And there's always this moment, especially if I have the foster dogs for like more than like 2 weeks, which most of the time I do, I have them for a month or two. There's this moment when like it happens every single time, and it's the best, worst feeling when we're on a walk and they are walking in front of me and then they turn around to look at me, like to make sure that I'm like still there. And it's like, and they look at you with like such happiness in their face that you're just like, oh God. And you're like, you don't know that this is like a temporary situation. And like, they obviously like find their love with their families. I'm always happy to do it. But there is always these moments when you have these foster dogs and basically like you kind of see them like imprint on you. Yeah. Like you'll be on the couch and they'll just like put their paw on you and like much like Kaya says, they'll just like stare into your eyes and it's crazy. And you're like, oh.
You're looking at me and I'm looking at you.
Yeah, and you're just like making eyes at this dog.
Soul connection.
Yeah, and it's so sweet. And like I don't know, dogs are always just so happy to see you. Like, you, like, run into, like, one of my Blaze, our favorite, who loved you too. Whenever I would come home, Blaze would, like, pee himself. And I was like, no man has ever peed themselves with excitement to see me.
Well, don't count yourself out yet, you know?
Yeah, still got time.
Still got time for that. But yeah, they're good.
But yeah, I like
Good
this
companions.
one. They're good guys. Good
I
boys.
did say I thought this narrative was overall less dramatic than some of the other ones. We still have some turmoil.
She needed some healing, you know?
Yeah, we had to do some emotional processing.
I do like how everyone in her life is like, Kaya, stay away from that dog. And she's like, I'm going to go back to that dog.
I do think, and we can talk about it as we get through it, but I did think it was a little misleading of like a tactic because I kind of was like waiting.
Lone dog would turn on her.
I didn't think it would turn on her. I thought it was going to maybe just be a little bit of an like hit you over the head and then a redemption arc kind of thing, like a kick and a kiss, like that she was going to bite somebody and then be like, wait, but I'm going to protect Kaya. And like, so I thought it was a little bit like funny to look back and be like, oh, so it wasn't.
I just like the
really
modern day equivalent. She's
problem.
hanging out with like a trash cat kind of.
Yeah, she's just like, anyway, off to go see my garbage pup. BRB, bye. Behind like the gas station alleyway.
It is so funny too, just like I know in this book and the next two, I understand that it's just like a different one, like time period, culture, and like way of life. But Kaya goes like fucks off on her own. Like in the next book, no spoilers, but she's like, I'm just gonna go across the river and see what's over there.
Yeah, she just like goes and hangs out with other people that like she's just using the hand signing with.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, we'll see her in a few days.
Chill. So should we get into it?
Let's get into it.
All right, y'all. Chapter 1, Starving Dog.
Uh-oh.
So Kaya is helping her family set up their teepee they're on the Palouse Prairie.
Which, by the way, I looked up.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to go there now. It's like
I want to go to there.
I want to go to there. It's like rolling green hills, like it's kind of crazy thinking about how these people had such beautiful land and we ruined it.
Yeah. We have decimated the American West.
That's okay.
Although I guess a large amount of it remains.
There, I could go in. I mean, I do a podcast on that,
but
literally, and it's such a
it's pretty fascinating.
Well, it's such an interesting, like, not like immediate diatribe. I'll be quick with it, but it's so interesting because I do a podcast for one of my jobs that is about like ranch real estate and kind of ranch brokerage, and kind of the kiss and the kick of it is that like a lot of their ranches are so big and it's like privately owned land, which sucks. But a lot of the people who own the privately owned land are big conservation and land stewards. So they are keeping it wild and they're like doing regenerative practices and working to like make sure that like the land is sustainable and like beautiful and like untouched. But it's also like not for the public, but then the public destroys things. So it's kind of like
you can't
have it both ways, kind of.
Right.
Like you can't have it public and then not expect someone to sell it or like to have people like destroy it, but you also like can't have it private like and then expect it to be like a fair system. It's kind of weird.
It's complicated.
It's like it's working with this podcast has like turned my view on it slightly. Like I wish there was a way to kind of make it somewhere in between. Like there's like public use days or something.
Yeah.
But like it like the whole idea is that like the West is being kind of destroyed and we need to have these people who are like promising to take care of it, but part of the promise is it's my land,
right?
And I have a gun, and I'm gonna
have
shoot
a gun.
You.
Goodbye. Stay off.
I'm gonna have they have so much land too. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
So, anyways, they're on the Palouse Prairie.
The Palouse Prairie. And Kaya's kind of like taking in all of the natural splendor and the beautiful sights. And they're there to do some root digging. They're gonna dig up some roots, make some remedies, they're prepping for some trading that we'll get to see later.
Which is very cool.
It is very cool. And she hears all these birds, and after the winter, she's just like grateful for it to be springtime. And then immediately we go into like some sadness. Kaya is thinking long and hard about her missing sister.
Her sister she misplaced.
And like Two Hawks has like still been hanging out with them, and he's like really found like his sort of own beat.
His stride.
He's in with it, and she's like, dang, he looks happy. I bet he misses his family. Like Speaking Rain misses her family, probably, in theory. I don't know if she's even alive or not. Wistfully looking off. And then she's like, also, what about my horse? Miss my horse. Bring my horse back.
I do, like, obviously, I know her horse is, like, important to her. And I know horses are important, but I do think it's funny that every time she mentions losing her sister, it's like, and then my horse too.
Yeah, it's like my sister's speaking ring was taken from me, and then also my horse was taken and captured and traded away, and I'll never see her again. And
My
you're
sweet,
like,
sweet horse.
You're like, yes, we all know about the horse, babe. We all know that the horse is gone. Yeah, the horse is gone.
Yeah, the horse is gone.
So it's cute. Anyway, so then Kautsua like, why are you watching the boys when you should be working? And Kai is like, oh, I'm just like thinking and I'm digging my roots. And she told me like that I shouldn't have bad thoughts inside. Otherwise the roots will like sense my evil intentions.
This part I really enjoyed because I wish I could get out of chores by being like, I'm having bad thoughts today. If I do my dishes, the dishes will like sense my maladaptive practices. I just can't do it.
Yeah, sorry. So like today I'm not living up to my name.
Yeah.
Like if I do, I'm gonna bring dishonor to Celia if I like keep working
Because it works.
Yeah, so it
Cass
works.
is like, then you shouldn't be digging roots.
She's like, you're right. If you're gonna be worthy of your namesake, they're still not saying Swan Circling's name out loud because she hasn't earned it yet. But anyway, she's like, thank you. And then she walks off.
Yeah, so she basically gets out of chores by being like, I'm having conflicted feelings. And Grandma's like, better not touch those roots then.
Yeah,
and she's
better
like,
keep
you're
your
right,
hands
better
to yourself. Absolutely. So then she goes and she fucks off to go talk to her twin brothers, who are
Wingspan and Feather.
I think that was wrong.
I think it's
Sparrow
and
shit, what's the other one's name? Wingfeather.
Wingfeather, okay. So it's not Wingspan and Feather, it's Feather and Sparrow.
Sparrow, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so she goes over to her brothers. They're trying to catch these little snakes that are like crawling around on the ground. And she's like, when will the roots be like ready for me? And then she's like, actually, I don't want to do this chore. Goodbye. So then she finally wanders off. And she goes into the woods to gather some firewood. And there, you guys, she encounters the crux of this whole book. A pup. Well, she's not a pup. She's a dog. Big bitch. And she's like, uh-oh, what's this? And she like slowly approaches. She's like kind of skittish. She's like side-eyeing. The dog, by the way, is like side-eyeing Kaya. And Kaya notices that she's like heavily pregnant. And like obviously hungry and like kind of nervous. And Kaya's like, wow, well, I was thinking about making a bad mistake again soon. So I should probably befriend this unwell dog that's slinking around the camp.
It's about time I did something erratic.
It's about time I decided to do something for myself. So she like inches towards the dog and then they do that eye staring thing.
Locking.
To each other, lock in, back and forth. And she's like talking to the dog. She's like, do you like want food? Are you hungry? I can't tell like what you want, but oh my gosh, like you're pregnant. And then she's like, well, I don't have any food for you. So go, like, bye. Yeah. Back. And then the dog disappears and then she feels immediately guilty.
Yeah. Which I kind of relate to.
Yeah. She's like, whoops, maybe I did make a mistake. Yeah. She's like, wow, everybody says I'm so selfish all the time. And maybe I was just selfish just now.
And she's like, dog, if I see you again, oh boy, you're gonna eat.
Boy, is she's like, I'm gonna make such a promise. Also, in this book and the next book, we really get into vows.
Yeah.
Being like unbreakable.
The catch-all be-all of anything.
Yeah. If I make a vow, it's over for...
And no one can question it.
No one can question it. It's just like the principle. Also, we get a lot of comparisons back and forth between Kaya's time being enslaved by the other tribe and the way that the dog is treated.
So Kaya, like, as we go through this, I just want to put out there because we alluded to it. Kaya basically puts all her emotions and feelings on this dog. Everything, all the guilt, all the like pain, all the like remorse that she needs to like reckon with, she puts on making sure this dog is okay.
Yeah, she's like, damn, it's kind of like this dog is my sister.
Yes.
And also me.
Yes.
And if I treat it poorly, it's like I'm killing my sister and
redoing
myself.
The situation again. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like part 2. So the dog is gone, so she wanders back off. And then finally the chosen day of root digging begins. So Kaya Goes back to kind of helping out with that. They're in like their sweat lodge, which we learn a lot about. Basically, that they'll go inside and it'll be hot, and they'll like sweat out all their impurities every day.
Every day they take a cold bath and go in a sweat lodge.
Yeah, and there's like one woman in their tribe. It's her grandmother, so it's Kautsua, who's like, okay, get into the cold water, get out, come into the steam.
Which like we're still doing to this day.
I know. I was like, dang, I kind of want to go do that. I literally was like, should I go to like a sauna room?
It does feel like cleansing.
Oh yeah, I love
like a cold plunge hot thing.
Yes, willingly.
Yeah.
When I'm choosing it for myself.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
I went to a sauna in Bucharest. That was like the best thing. It was called like it was like Spa Bucharest or something, and it was like $45 for 5 hours because Eastern Europe. And you just like, it was like heated pools, and like there was like a Dead Sea pool, and there was like pools with like all these different minerals in them, and then upstairs was just like a room of saunas with increasing heat.
I just love stuff like that. Yeah, it's so good.
And the employees would come in with like oils and like smells at certain hours. Yeah, they put it in like one of the sauna rooms, and so you'd be in this like spiced sauna room, and it was like, oh my god, I'm
like, this is perfect.
I was like completely alone, just like
$1 million in the United States.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I should do this in America, and I looked, and it's like the starting price is $560. I'm like, oh, I should just buy a flight to Bucharest.
No, literally. When I was in Japan, I did one of those head spas where they like play the music and they like do all that stuff to your scalp, and it cost me similarly like $60. And I was looking at one here in Austin, it was like $280 for like an hour.
That's crazy.
And I was like, hey,
we should just learn to do this stuff ourselves.
I know, I'm saying, start our own businesses. I mean, I respect the hustle, y'all, don't get me wrong. But anyway, speaking of the hustle, before we get to the next dramatic dog plot point, we are getting the beginning of Brown Deer's saga.
Yeah.
By the way, which continues more in this next book. But
which is funny because I was about to make a note on this book before we started. Brown Deer hasn't spoken once. But in the next in these two books that we read, she speaks like all the time.
Yeah, she speaks a lot.
It's like she heard me.
Yeah, they kind of like rotate through like which characters are speaking.
Yeah.
A lot. So in this one and the next one, yeah, Brown Deer and Itza and Kautsua.
Katsua's always
yapping a lot.
She's got a lot of things to say.
She's got a lot of lore.
I don't know if I agree with Katsua's opinions on everything.
No. We can get to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they dig and they dig and they dig, and then Kaya is preparing the next day a morning meal for her little brothers, and she's like, still like agonizing about the dog, and then her dad comes and finds her and is like, I've been thinking we need to go train another horse. By the way.
Yeah, he's like, hey, kid with nothing to do now.
Yeah, and she's like, damn, I guess I'm gonna have to go train another horse with my father.
My broskies.
So they go and they pick out just Kausua's horse,
they're basically like horse. Kausua's horse is strong, like she'd be good at
carrying a travois. Yeah. So they like tie up the horse and put it in the travois, and then Kaya sits on it to like offset the weight, and then the horse is like getting used to it. So it's basically like a carnival ride.
It is interesting, like obviously that you have to train animals to do these things, but it's just that like you're like, all right, so let's like get him used to doing this now.
It's kind of crazy to just think that there were like about domestication generally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like how do you learn like how you need to train an animal for the first time?
Because like you said, like Tota's like, let's like have you sit on it first. All right, then like this is working. All right, now we're gonna put the travois on. We're gonna put like the two little boys on because it's not that much weight, but it's a little bit of dragging weight, and they can jump off if they need to. And then when we need to, we'll put heavier, like it's like
things on there.
Yeah, it's like
we'll just like practice it, and like it's far enough back that like if the horse bucks or kicks, like nobody's gonna get like hurt by it. But
well, it's even interesting. I saw like a video the other day of people training seeing eye dogs, and it was like literally them like training them on like all these different surfaces to walk, like it's like a glass floor, like, and it's so interesting because obviously I can dogs but like I've noticed that like sometimes dogs get like very shy and skittish on like grates or like on like my like the bridge or something out there, and like anything like that. But it's not something I would like think it's like, oh no, you have to train the seeing eye dogs so that they don't get skittish
Right,
on
that they're
that
like,
too.
this is fine.
Yeah,
Like
so
the desensitization almost.
yeah, so they basically they do like and I think you were saying with like horses, like desensitizing them to like too much noise and things like that.
Yeah, you have to like walk around them all around and like make noises and jump and clap and do. I love watching those videos.
Yeah,
they're so interesting.
It's just interesting to like the people who train animals. I admire a lot because that takes having tried to train dogs.
Yeah,
even just basic things like sit, stay, do this, like takes a lot of patience.
Oh yeah, and it's I don't know. I think it's just amazing too to like be a person and recognize like, oh, this animal has even the potential to be like trained and taught.
It's also crazy. It's gonna take forever.
That's okay. I know we can.
But it's also crazy to think that some animals, much like people, are smarter than other animals.
Yes.
Like you can have a dumb horse.
Yeah.
And you can have a really smart horse.
Yeah.
And like dumb dogs.
Also
and, like,
that their personalities do affect like the way that they behave. Especially I think like dogs and horses and like cats are like domesticated animals that like people work alongside in some ways. You're kind of like, oh, I have to like remember that
you have a personality.
You have a personality and like it might influence the way that you behave. So anyway, they do the horse training. Speaking of personality, Kaya walks off and wanders when she's done. And you guys, dog alert. Lone Dog is so back. But she encounters Lone Dog because she hears Snowpaws, which is very cute. He's
the alpha of the pack.
Yeah, he's like a big black dog.
Yeah.
And he's head bitch in charge, but he's not a bitch. He's head dick in charge. And he's barking away, and she's kind of like, huh. Also, don't you think it's funny that we really have not talked about the dogs that they have up until like this point?
Did you know we have packs of dogs?
Yeah, like by the way, the tribe has a group of dogs that like
which
hang
makes
out.
sense, but
yeah,
like,
I think it was just funny to be like
that there wasn't even like a afterthought of them before.
I mean, maybe there wasn't. We just glazed over
maybe,
it, but like
yeah.
But mostly it's been like not like when the camp was raided and stuff. I was like, there weren't any like dogs. That they were just stealing the horses. Anyway, so Kaya goes to investigate, and Snowpaws is barking, hackles up at Lone Dog, and her teeth are bared, and she's like scared and kind of standing her ground like against him. And Kaya is like, get away from her. So this is the first time she gets Big Stick. She brings back Big Stick later. A couple times. Big Stick's the move in this book. So she gets Big Stick and she's like, get back at Snowpaws. And Snowpaws, low-key, it feels like he's kind of like, okay, what the fuck, girl? Like,
he's like, fine, get bit.
Fine. Yeah, he's like, slave, that seems like your problem. I'm moving on. So he finally does back down. But he basically, like, it's repeatedly described when she, like, fends him off that he seems, like, really confused because his job is to protect, and this little child is like,
yeah, he kind of just gets over it.
Don't do all that.
Yeah, he's like, all right, well, I tried.
So Kaya intervenes, and then she goes over to Lone Dog, and she gives her a bone, some dried pieces of salmon. The bone is later. She gives her some dried salmon this time, and the dog like scrounges them up. She's like,
a little skittish, yeah,
but like she looks up at Kaya with her big yellow eyes. And Kaya's like, take the food.
She's like, you're mine now.
And Kaya's like, so, I mean, I'm going to be so normal about it, but it is over for this dog. I wrote, basically, she immediately bonds to her and is like, I'm going to protect this dog with my whole life. I mean, fair. Again, she's a child with an animal. Yes, she's like, horse is over party. And she's like, you asked me for help, and I listened, and I brought you food, and I'm going to bring you more food, and I'm going to keep you safe.
She's like, this is how I will feel better about myself.
So I was like, okay, great. So then later she goes back to her grandmother and she's like, hey, I have something I want to tell you.
She's like, hypothetically,
like, what if I encountered a dog and I fed that dog and that dog was my best friend?
Grandma's like, I heard that Lone Dog was not, and I heard that Snowpaws was not a fan of this Lone Dog.
Yeah.
And then they kind of go back and forth more than I expected, where Grandma's like, well, Snowpaws knows what's right. And she's like, but what if Snowpaws is wrong? What if Lone Dog is good? And Grandma's like, Snowpaws is here to protect us. He might know something you don't know.
Yeah.
He can talk to
He
Lone
might be
Dog.
smarter than you.
And she's like, but what if I love Lone Dog? And she's like, I don't know what Snowpaws says. And she's like, Hassel, what if I made a vow? to dog.
She
She's
because
like, well, that
she's like,
changes everything.
yeah, she's like, well, there could be disease in that dog, and Kaya's like, no, she's beautiful and she's perfect and she's never been worse. She's never been better. She's the best dog ever. Ha ha ha. Ha. Yeah, and then she's like, what if I told you I made a vow? And then Kaya also uses swan circling as like the justification for every decision she makes in these other books, and I'm like, okay, and you guys did have a bond, but like maybe we're being a little bit using her as a scapegoat, this dead woman.
Yeah.
Because she, at the end of this chapter, is like, I know that swan circling would do what was right, which is what I'm deciding that I'm doing, which I've decided is
Which is the right thing to do.
which is to take care of this dog.
Because I decided.
Because I decided. Because swan circling would want me to do that. So that's the end of chapter 1. Chapter 2, newborn puppies. Yay. Okay, so Kaya, of course, continues to feed Lone Dog, and she is always kind of keeping an eye out for her. So in the morning, she's down at the stream, she runs into the dog, and she's like, oh my gosh, like, here we go. So that's when she gives her the bone. And then some of the other kids in the village, like, that they're in, like, stop by and basically, like, mock her.
I know, including Two Hawks, which I was like, j'accuse.
I know. Tuok shows back up, and because now he's one of the boys.
I know, it's so bad.
He's like, haha, hate you, stupid bitch. Not really. Like, it's not that dramatic, but he is like, well, I can bully you now, too.
I know, and Kaya's like, what the hell?
Kaya literally
She's
is like, I can't believe he would treat me like this after everything I've done for him.
And she's like, Jesus Christ.
And I was like, I feel like he's been exactly this way since the moment you met him.
Yeah,
but
that's not surprising to me.
No. Yeah, I was like, no, of course.
I knew this boy would seek out the like validation of other boys immediately.
Yeah, of course. Well, he's gotta find comfort somehow. He can't be seen hanging out with a girl. Ding. Also, low-key in the next book, it's giving crush, which we'll get to. We'll get to it. Anyway, it's like a crazy throwaway single line in the book, and I was like, I'm gonna think about this.
None of our girls have had crushes before.
I know. I was like, okay,
we'll get to it.
Pop off. Anyway, so she's thinking about all the ways that she's gonna try to win over like Lone Dog's trust, and then she gets caught. And basically, the reason she's being taunted is because she's not making the dog like work for food. She's giving it to her, and so they're like, oh, she's gonna be like a coyote, like a lonely, what do they call it, a lazy coyote, because we get a story later in this chapter from grandmother about how wolves, dogs, and coyotes
I did like that
came
story.
to be. Me too.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about it. Yeah. But basically they're like, if you never make her work, she won't like
learn how to
like provide back to
basically,
us.
she's
the
not
way
gonna
the
be
dogs
domesticated, like, because like we have a relationship where it's like,
yeah, like the dogs protect us and hunt and like can be cared for, like care for themselves, but also care for us and look out for us. And like a coyote will never do that because you'll feed her and then she can run away and be selfish.
Yeah.
And Kaya's like, not my dog. And they're like, haha, Kaya's stupid. So anyway,
Kaya is like not popular in her tribe, I don't think.
It's kind of a bummer. Like Kaya loses her sister, so she loses her built-in friend. Her adult sister, or her growing adult sister, her teenage sister, is like gonna get married and like abandon her. And then like she doesn't really hang out with the other girls. She kind of plays games in the next book with some of the other girls, but we never see her
kind
like
of a loser, I think.
She's
I hate to say it.
Well, self-imposed loserhood. Yeah. So anyway, Two Hawks is also like, my people would like chase off like a dog like
you
that.
have never let
I'd
those
never
people
let a
shut up.
be around.
Two Hawks.
Yeah. So anyway, they're like, well, we'll watch her as she gets like fat on our food, and then Kaya is like calls them all skunks in her head, and then stomps off. Sadly. Okay. So then, Tota comes to get Kaya again. Oh no, wait, I'm mixing this up. Yeah, sorry. I put a note in this one that was actually in the chapter before. Anyway, so finally, Kaya kind of wanders off, and she realizes she hasn't seen Lone Dog in like a hot minute. So she goes off to snoop around because she's worried, and she stumbles upon what looks like a den.
A little den.
And then she's like, oh my God, den alert. So she goes and she's like, let me peek my head down in there, which is crazy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I thought something bad was going to happen at this point. Especially because of the pups being born.
Kaya has some plot armor in this book because lots of things. I mean, she has plot armor just by being an American girl, but she's got a lot of plot armor because I'm just so certain a dog would attack her.
Especially if relatively feral dog with new puppies. They're very protective of their babies.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Kaya searches, she finds the den, and she's like, oh my God, there's lone dog, and also next to her, four little pups wriggling about.
Little chunky little babies.
Still closed, newborn.
Well, she's like, they look like ground squirrels.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God, I can't believe they're even here. They're little stubby.
I know, my God, puppies are so cute. Stubby puppies. Oh my God. Little tiny fat guys.
And Kaya's like, oh my God, you're such a good mom. Here, I brought you another bone. Okay, and she throws the bone in the den, and Lone Dog just gets up, and it says all the puppies basically fall off her.
Yeah, that's what dogs do.
Yeah, she's like, anyway, I'll come back for that later. And she kind of scrounges at the bone that Kaya gives her. So this thus begins the Kaya dog sequence.
Yeah, Kaya mom.
Yeah,
Kaya dog mom.
Much like the Felicity training the horse sequence.
Very similar.
This is the Kaya befriending the dog sequence. She keeps coming back, bringing food, and slowly gaining Lone Dog's trust. She's bringing offerings. She's hanging around. The puppy's eyes open. She's like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting and so amazing.
I do like how she's the puppy's eyes opened and they looked at her, but she knew they couldn't see yet.
Yeah, she's like, but I know, but they could sense my good aura and my heart and my intentions.
It's like when I held my niece, happy birthday, niece today. For the first time.
Happy birthday, niece.
Yeah, can't say her name. We accidentally said a name in the last episode, so I had to bleep it out again. Which I like doing. But I remember holding her and my nephew when they were a month old. And you just look at these babies and it's you don't know anything that's going on here. They're looking at you, you're like, no, you're not.
You're the world is your oyster. So anyway, she's like, okay, I'll come and visit you again soon. So then we have another incident where Snowpaws is on the prowl. So the puppies are kind of starting to grow and they're not quite exploring yet, but Kaya is like, okay, I think I have the trust of the dog. Snowpaws rolls up on the den and is
sniffing around
and then locks in, sees Lone Dog and is freaking. So he starts barking, bark, 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 growl, growl, growl. And Kaya, it's time for Big Stick again. Kaya gets another big stick and is like, get back, get away from the den. You're not coming in. Enough, enough, enough. And Snowpaws again is kind of just really? For real? And then Lone Dog gets in her defensive position. So they're kind of standing off and this little girl's just standing between them. Showdown of the Century style. Eventually Snowpaws backs down again and Kaya's like, look, I saved you. So then she goes back to the village and she's proud of herself and whatever. She's been keeping this dog safe. But then she goes back and Kautsua is giving her and Brown Deer more tasks. They're building a bigger sweat lodge. So they're digging out a deeper trench and then they're building this enclosed little arch over it. And while they're talking, this is where we get the coyote, blah, 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 everything. Because Kautsua's like, why are you looking off into the woods? Once again, you're distracted when it's time for chore. This time, though, your impure thoughts aren't going to get you out of it. You're going to do this chore whether you want to or not. And Kaya admits that she's thinking about the lone dog and that she's found the den. And Itza, so Kaya's mom, is like, oh, it's too bad that she doesn't just come join the pack because then she could be helpful and provide for the camp. And then that's when Kautsua like, ha ha ha, don't you guys remember the story? I was looking for another chance to speak here.
I do like the story.
The story's good.
But sometimes I feel because I have mixed feelings on it. Sometimes when they tell too many stories in these books, I'm like, plot, go back to the plot. We're taking it's much like Celia and I recording a podcast. We're taking a 20-minute
it's just more detour. I could skip over it and just be like, they tell you a story, but it is an interesting story. Yeah, but then it's
this one I feel I like as a origin story. It's better than the glutton.
Well, that one was just it didn't even make any sense, and it didn't even explain what you were supposed to be. It wasn't even related to
anything that happened in the book.
No, I was like, okay, so there's no payoff here. Why'd I just read that? So here you guys. Basically the TLDR is all of these animals, the dogs, are hanging out in the woods, and they're like, wow, what should we do? We're hungry. We're so hungry. And they're like, well, if we go to the humans and we let them feed us, and they will expect work from us in turn. And so some of the dogs are like, oh, well, we'll go and do that and we'll become dogs. And then the other ones are like, well, if we let them feed us but we don't work for them, we can go and become coyotes. And then two of them go off together and they become wolves because they work together to hunt and protect and defend each other and not rely on the humans.
There you go.
There you go. That's the TLDR. Also, they talk about how like the Nimi Poop people are like wolves because they all work together in tandem, and so that they have this like symbiotic respect for one another, and that it's not natural for a dog to live all alone is ultimately like the reason.
That's kind of why they're like, it's weird this dog is not with anyone else.
Yeah, like we should be kind of concerned. And then Itza brings up this interesting plot line where she's like, oh, well, I've gotten a glimpse of your weird little lone dog, and I feel like she might have some wolf blood in her, which could be bad because, you know, like a dog will obey the commands of a human and a wolf won't. So if she has wolf blood in her, she might kind of like end up challenging you like over time. Like if you basically like if you try to train this dog or bring the dog in, like I think
it's like when people own raccoons.
Yes, 100%. Anytime somebody has like a non-domesticated animal,
it's like you can teach it, but its instinct will kick in sometimes.
Yeah, it's
could kick in.
Honestly, it's kind of like people with like tigers and stuff, like where you can prove like over time, like even if you raise it from a baby, its natural instinct will be that like eventually you are a prey to it. So it might attack you if it's in danger. Same thing with like the monkeys and everything.
Well, hunkus.
Anyway, so all the women basically like start kind of accidentally, I fear, ganging up on Kaya. So I do think she feels a little overwhelmed in this conversation.
I would too.
Because basically it goes from like them just talking about like the story to being like, well, the dog could be like a danger. And Brown Deer's like, yeah, she could like snap
I was
her
like, Brown
teeth
Deer.
on somebody.
This is when Brown Deer first spoke, and I was like, okay, calm down.
I know. I was like, okay, Brown Deer. I was like, what the hell? It's like, yeah, she could be really dangerous. Like she might snap at a baby or like cause trouble. And then everybody's like, yeah, actually, we all agree that you should stay away from the dog.
I know. I did feel we've all been in this situation before too when you're a kid and everyone all of a sudden is you're like, stop it. You guys don't know.
You're like, accidentally, I fear I set myself up to be
like chastised.
Yeah, to be chastised. And now I'm mad that it's happened to me, but I don't know how to get out of it because I still want to stand my ground and be like, no, please.
It's tough.
So it is a bummer. Anyway, Kaya, you guys, Kaya's made a vow though. And remember that Kaya made a vow she really doesn't want to break when we get to the next book, and we see how much she really wants to pretend like she never did all that.
Or that vows are silly.
Where vows are silly and not meant to be kept.
Easily broken.
Actually, vows can really be broken. And more importantly, vows can be bent.
Yeah.
To fit the will of what you, a child,
what you want.
Yeah. Yes. So anyway, Katz was like, just like keep my warning like very close to your heart. That dog might do something terrible. The end of that chapter.
Yay.
And I was like,
and then the next title would also make you think that something.
Yeah. Okay, so chapter 3, more warnings.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this dog's gonna bite Kaya.
Y'all, like nothing goes that wrong in this book.
It's really cool.
It's really like
the vibe book.
Also, do you think that there are like other warnings about the dog too, but I feel like this was specifically about the white people.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into it, you guys. We're taking kind of a break from the dog for this chapter. Actually, basically the whole chapter. If you'll recall earlier, I said we were all getting ready for a big trade thing to happen. So a bunch of different tribes are coming together in this prairie area to do trading. So they're all coming from like the West Coast, North, East, South, everybody. They're coming all together. And eventually some Salish traders are supposed to be coming. And they're hoping that somebody in that group will know Two Hawks, or Two Hawks will recognize somebody in that. And so hopefully there can finally be some reunion.
Or at the very least they can tell the Salish, like, we have a
boy. Could you maybe take
let people know
him to, or
LMK.
bring him here.
Yeah.
So, in this time, the Salish traders haven't arrived yet at the beginning of this chapter. They are going to show up later, but Kaya is like looking at all these different things that are coming, and her people are bringing like deer and elk skins to trade for like beads and jewelry. And later she's given like some meat, I believe, to go and trade. And she can go like pick out like something that she wants. And she like her ears are buzzing because there's all these different languages being spoken, and some people are signing. So it's very much like the marketplace
Yes, that's
trade
what I thought
sequence
of, yeah.
from Josefina. Yeah. So we get like a very cool version of that here. Lone Dog appears very briefly. She goes and she visits Lone Dog again, and the puppies are becoming more precocious.
Yeah, they're moving
starting
around.
to like wriggle about, wandering, snooping, snuffling. And she's like, dang, these dogs are gonna be crazy someday. But not yet, because traders from the coast are here. They've arriving with news, and they're arriving with goods. And Kaya is hoping that they might know something about Speaking Rain. So she is slinking on up. Also because Pilaka, her grandfather.
Yeah, who's almost never mentioned.
No, this is the first time we even get a proper name for him. He is also there with these people. So she's been waiting all day for him to come. So she goes with like her dad and 2 hawks and some other people to go gather around and listen to what Pilaka has to say. And he's like, okay, so no word about Speaking Rain. Like, which feels a little crazy when we get to the next book, that there's like no whisper on the wind of her.
Yeah, because she's simply there.
She's simply
fine
with the Salish people.
Spoiler,
you guys. She's simply with the Salish people.
She's living her best life.
Low-key, it's a little crazy. Like, and it happens almost immediately after
Kaya leaves.
leaves.
Okay.
So anyway, sorry, you guys. Jumping ahead a little bit. As you guys know, sometimes we read 2 at a time, so they kind of influence each other. Anyway, he has lots of other stories to tell about trading and all this stuff. And he does say that he has some little gifts. He gives Kaya this little blue stone bead.
You know what I thought would have been cool? This because it reminded me of the trade scene in Josefina.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been cool if it was Patrick O'Malley's turquoise like
oh my
stone.
God. That would be kind of funny.
Yeah, wouldn't that have
tie the universe together?
Yeah, that would have been like the Pixar like comb or whatever it is. Like how like everyone says like the Pixar universe is like tied together through like items and stuff. Yeah.
I do think they should have. I feel like they're starting to do that now, but we should have been doing.
They should have done that before.
All the way back in this time. So anyway,
so they're
giving all these gifts, and this is what starts us off on the first big warning thing that's happening. Is Pilaka brings these beautiful new beads from like the trades that he's been doing, and Kautsua is like, well, it's okay, but I like our beautiful traditional shell beads and such better. And he's like, oh, the old ways are always better for you. Ha ha.
They wink at each other.
And she's like, yes, the old ways are safe ways. And he's like, yeah, oh my God, speaking of, the traders that I was like working alongside said that they had these like beautiful, he's like, I didn't see them, but they were speaking of these beautiful deep red dyed cloths that are being traded. And they're like, deep red, like where would you find something like that? And then he's like, the pale-faced traders come on their big ships and they bring everything with them.
Bum, bum, bum.
Okay. And this, like, Kautsua is like, everybody listen to me again.
Red alert.
I have another thing to say. And she talks about how she had this vision not that long ago. And she actually tells a version of this vision in an earlier book. But this one's a little more specific to the red cloth. She's like, I had a vision where I was holding a red cloth. And then all of a sudden that red cloth turned into blood on my hands. And it was attached to those like pale-faced men that you're discussing. And she's like, this is a warning. Harm to us is going to come. Like danger, destruction, madness. And Kaya's like, I don't know about all of that, but that sounds scary. And she, again, we're getting more of this. So the last book has to be the Vision Quest.
If we don't get a Vision Quest, I'm gonna
be
knock on
really fucking confused.
We're going to the Dallas or the Houston American Girl store and asking questions.
And being like, all right, somebody explain to me right now what this was all about. So anyway, everybody basically agrees with Kautsua that like, yes, we should be wary.
These white men are dangerous.
Of these people, and it is concerning. Okay, and then Two Hawks is getting like really fidgety while they're having this conversation, and it's because he's like side-eyeing these other traders, and he jumps up, and Tota is like, sit down, like you need to be patient, like calm down. And he's like, wait, I think that those traders are Salish. So he like hops up and he is allowed to like go over and follow them. So Tota's like, okay, go get your horse. So they go over there, and they're basically, Tota's like, you guys recognize this kid?
I'm like, no.
And the guy's like, nah. And then Two Hawks like hops off his horse and like runs over to this trader and like throws his arms around his waist and says something to him in Salish. And then the guy's like face like lights up and he's like, oh my gosh. And it turns out it's his uncle.
Which I guess is because he got, like, I think we said in the book that he got introduced. I think he was stolen when he was like 6 and he's like 10 or 11 now. So yeah, he probably doesn't look the same, but his uncle probably looks the same.
Right. His uncle is like an adult
And
man.
his uncle probably thought he was dead.
Yeah, 100%. He's probably like not even thinking like that this boy might still be alive.
We stopped looking for you.
You certainly know Kaya.
Yeah.
Where Kaya's like, yes, you know, and speaking Rand's alive. You know?
Everyone's like,
and my
yeah.
horse, by the way. My horse.
My horse.
And my horse.
My horse is here.
My sister, yes, but my horse.
My horse too.
Have you guys considered horse lately?
My sister is okay, but is the horse okay?
But is the horse okay?
Have you seen my horse?
What about the horse?
Penny? No. Stuff's eye.
Where is she?
I'll take either.
Bring her back. I'll take any horse.
I'll take any horse.
So, it's yay, happy reunion. So Two Hawks is finally gonna get to go home. Isn't that so exciting?
She's a little sad she's gonna lose her frenemy.
Yeah, she is. Okay, this is the beginning of.
I did think it was funny.
Crush a clock. I fear.
Yeah, but they are like, they have like dinner and stuff like that with his family, and they tell the story. And she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna lose my friend." I'm like, "Are you guys friends?"
I know. Well, and they like, cause in these moments he's like, "Oh, Kaya's bravery. Like, let me tell everybody like about like how we got all these places." And she's like, "Yes." And that is how it's been, and we've never had beef. Like, what a gentle man, like, I'll miss.
I feel like all their interactions, and I think that we all have this person in our life where there's like a slight, there's a thin layer of like, we might get in a fight at any second.
Yeah, you're just like waiting for like the jig to be up, and you're like,
it's like waiting for the trigger to happen.
Yeah,
like, who's gonna say what's gonna piss me off?
Yeah, exactly. Who's gonna pull it, and then it's over. Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah, they have like a dinner and everything, and Two Hawks is like, I promise that I will be on the lookout for your sister, but also your horse.
Again, I was like, how are you gonna find anyone in a prairie?
Again, well, and I'm so sorry. Again, the horse. At one point in the book, they're like, "Oh, I asked anybody if they'd seen like your star-faced horse, and the answer was no." And I was like, I fear that it depends. But, like, those types of wild horses, unless they have, like, really distinct markings, like, kind of all blend together. So it's, like, I guess the implication is that her horse has a very distinct marking. But
I guess.
Anyway. So, they ride off, and her heart is, like, torn in two, and she's devastated, and she's sad. So then, Kaya goes to seek some comfort via dog.
Yeah, which relatable.
Classic, which makes sense. So she goes to the den and she's like, "I'm here, I'm back," and she kneels down and she's petting a lone dog, and the puppies come out, and she's like, "Even the puppies can tell I'm sad, and that there's a deep, deep sadness in me." And then it turns out that her brothers had like followed her.
I know, her brothers really pissed me off in this book.
Well, it's really like, I was like, okay, I kind of wish that there had been a punishment at the end of this book, because I was like, Kaya literally got everybody switched for like kind of like an annoying thing, but like kind of nothing, and like none of the children have fucked up since. Yeah, that's like my one beef point. Like we get the Magpie nickname in some way basically every book. Someone calls her, or at least like tries to like tease her for like her irresponsibility, and I'm like, have really none of these other children done something? I understand the book is about her,
yeah,
but I am like, we couldn't have made her feel like
slightly
a
better,
little more normal.
It's like a workplace. Fine. Like 100 days without incident.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, that can't be right.
I guess it's only been like less than a year though.
Yeah,
so true.
So the twins are behind her and they sneak up on her and they're like, puppies, oh my gosh. And they're so excited. And Sparrow is like, let me in there. Like, let me see them. And she kind of like steps in the way and like puts up her arm and is like, no, you have to be careful. Like, she trusts me. We have a special bond, but she doesn't trust you guys yet. So you guys need to back off. Because she might bite you.
I also like how she like starts like being like, oh, if only I could command the respect that this dog commands her pups with my little brother.
Yeah.
So look at how they listen to their mom.
Also, she's like, I'm using the voice that Kautsua uses when she needs to put people in their place.
Which I know you're not a sibling, but as someone who I think has like almost the same age gap as Kaya and her younger brothers, you do have this like weird sense of like, I am the authority here, and you're like 6 years old.
Yeah, you're like
I'm taller, so I get to tell you what to do.
It's like
and
a
that
false sense of confidence.
Yeah, and they
almost.
know that.
Yeah.
Like before you even know that. They're like, you're not in charge of me.
They're like, I don't think so. Nice try. And you're like, fuck.
Like, I'm
Who
like
told
mom.
you?
I am like mama.
And you're like, huh. So anyway, she like I was also like, yeah, she's like, well, and Brown Deer doesn't know better either, because surely Brown Deer would like feel different if she could see that like I have such a good vibe here and going on. But she does tell her brothers basically like, you guys cannot come here
without me.
Like, it's a bad idea. So she at least like imparts them with that warning, and they like swear up and down that they're not going to do anything. Wink. And then they like leave. So she's like, don't forget, like, don't come here by yourselves. All right. Chapter 4. You guys, danger for the pups.
Uh-oh. This is where it turns the old yeller on us a little bit.
Okay, so every single morning, Kaya, like, races off to go and see the puppies. She is, okay, again, I don't understand when chore is important and when chore is not important.
She's out of chore because she's too sad.
Yeah, so she's like, well, I certainly can't dirty my hands with root now. So thanks, guys, for nothing. Goodbye. So she's running off back and forth, up and down. And she's always like, oh my God, good morning, puppy. And then she watches as she sees that Lone Dog is teaching the puppies how to like retreat inside the den when like danger might be coming. So she's kind of like observing, and she's like, oh, Lone Dog is so smart and she's so intelligent, and aren't you so glad to see me? And there is like one puppy, Tatlo in particular, that she like starts to develop like a bond with, who seems like very happy to see her.
Yeah, she likes him.
She's like, this is my puppy for sure. This one, number one, my puppy. Lone Dog, my big puppy. And then Tatlo, my little puppy.
Mini-me.
Yeah, my mini-me, my shadow. And she's like playing with the puppies, and then she's like starts to get worried that like they might encounter danger because the puppies are getting so precocious and getting in and out of the den that at any time like a coyote or a bear or some other sort of like nuisance could come and potentially pose like a threat to any of them. So she kind of thinks about that, and then she leaves. And they all go into the sweat lodge and do a big sweat bath ceremony. More sweating and in and out of the icy river, and then into the lodge. And there's eating and there's merriment. And they sit with like the sizzling stones.
Nice.
Like warming them. And she's still thinking about the dogs. And then Katz was like, I was looking for you. Where were you? And Kaya...
So with my dogs.
Kaya and Kautsua have like low-key the same conversation with slightly different outcomes like 3 or 4 times in this book.
Yeah.
Which is fine. And she's like, well, so how is the dog behaving? So like Kautsua does at least like kind of entertain her. She's like, all right, like, well, how's the dog? And she's like, well, she's better and she definitely likes me. So like I would consider that like a win, and her puppies are getting like big and fat. And then Katz was like, yes, and soon she'll wean them and she'll have to join our pack because the puppies will need protecting.
Okay, it's like, I don't know. That's
like,
gonna work.
I don't know. And then we get the kind of like lore drop of the fam. And Kaya feels kind of awkward, but she like rallies herself to ask kind of like a weird question. And she's like, Kautsua, like, if I told you I felt like Lone Dog spoke to me, would you like believe me, basically?
And she's like 100%.
And she's like, oh yeah, she's like, animals talk to us in a lot of different ways, but only some of us have ears like keen enough to hear what they have to say. And she's like, didn't you know that like my mother, so Kaya's great grandmother, she was like visited by wolf spirits and given the gift of like wolf speak, basically, that she could communicate with them and had like a tight bond with the wolves. And like it says it in the Peek into the Past too, but basically like when people would get guardian spirits or like the Wyakins, they would always carry the ability to communicate with that type of animal going forward. So like if there was like a buffalo hunt and it was going bad, but you had somebody who had a buffalo Wyakin, you would go and you would speak to them and they would like implore the buffalo spirit to like bring the herd back closer or like to give up like one of their own so that like the tribe could eat.
Well, also like they talk about in the Peek into the Past that long ago everyone was able to speak to animals, but the animals stopped speaking to humans because the humans stopped listening.
And ain't that the truth?
Yeah, I was like,
You're like, huh?
Some things never change.
Some things never change. So anyway, she's like, do you think like I'll get like a wolf spirit? And then we get another like, well, when you go on your vision quest.
Your vision quest.
So we're not talking about this anymore because it'll be important when you go on your vision quest.
Your vision quest, what you're going on.
What you're going on. When? Hard to say. We've talked about it every single book.
Vision.
A time to have one. So anyway, eventually they go back into the stream and then we cut away. Cool. Okay. So then later Kaya is responsible for watching her twins again, or the twins. And Wingfeather is like dicking around and she's like, you guys are too old for this bullshit. Like, you guys need to chill out. And while she's like too busy scolding Wingfeather, she doesn't realize that Sparrow has run off.
Kids are nightmares.
Oh my God.
They're 4 or 5, and I nannied 4 or 5-year-olds, and they do be running off.
You really you need like one person per child that age because they're so fast and they're so cunning and they're smart enough now and like aware enough to know that they can run away from you and like it's fun,
They
right?
have no recall.
If you get to they're like, I'll be okay. I'll be fine, and then I'll never get home because I'll never remember
where
I'm
home
4. Because I'm 4. So of course, Sparrow runs off, and Kaya is like, "Oh my God, I bet he's like running to go visit Lone Dog." And I don't know that like Lone Dog's not gonna like flip out
with him alone,
and like attack him. So she's like, "Shit," and she's like, "Damn." She usually doesn't really think it, but I was thinking it. I was like, "Damn, girl, like you're about to get everybody fucking hit again." Because your brother is being stupid. Somehow I was like, it's going to come back on Kaya.
Yeah. I think they're still too young to be like disciplined.
100%. So Kaya's like, damn, nobody pays attention to my like warnings. So she runs off and she comes down like a steep hillside, and then the den comes into view. And she stops at the crest of the hill and she's like, oh my God, like, spaghetti-o. Something terrible is happening. There's a bear. Bear alert. It's a really funny piece of art too. The bear is like bent down, like shoving its foot like into the den, like underneath like a bit of trying to dig in, get them puppies.
Yeah, get a little snack.
Get them pups. And she's like, okay, Wingfeather, stay fucking right here, I swear to God. But do you guys think that like Sparrow is like right in the thick of the danger?
Is he?
The answer is yes.
But I don't understand how he doesn't see the bear is the thing.
I don't either, because Kaya is far away and hears the bear like snuffling about and then sees it, and then Sparrow. Sometimes I feel like the optics in the book get a little off.
It's
just
kind
for,
of like when
sake.
the snake bit Kaya's friend.
Yeah,
I mean Josefina's friend. Where I was
yeah.
like, where is she standing that she's in more danger than Josefina?
Right, and you're like, and the snake's gonna just.
Yeah, it's okay.
Whatever, you know.
He's in danger. He's in danger, guys.
Books, you guys. So they're in danger. Dun dun dun. End of the chapter.
I hope this is about to go all old Yeller on us in this chapter too.
It is.
I was like, shit.
I literally was like, here
dead.
comes another death. I literally was like, look, and I read these books yesterday, so I had your text where you were like, it had made you cry, and I was like, I bet the dog dies.
No, it's still sad.
Merciful. It's still sad. But I was like, oh, okay, well, a small mercy. At least all the animals survive this book. So chapter 5, a sad parting. So Kaya is like getting ready to spring into action, but shoom, a like streak of like light gray flashes by her, dashes down the hill. It's a Lone Dog into the action. The bear like gets on its hind legs and is like lashing at her, and she's like biting and growling and freaking out. And Kaya runs into the clearing and is yelling and waving her arms, and the bear is disoriented and freaking out. And she's like, rah. And then it goes back down on all fours. And then just like walks away.
I know. Kaya's even confused a little bit by it. Just like she's like, the bear was like confused, and so was I.
Yeah, the bear's confused and so was I. And then the bear was like, I'm not gonna fight you.
Well, brown bears aren't that like aggressive, are they? I mean, again, this is like me saying like you can just intimidate a big cat, guys. But like
I feel like it depends. Like, I feel like when you get like camping advice when you're younger, it's that like you should really. They're looking for like the path of least resistance. Like they'll be defensive if they have to, and they'll attack if they have to. But the general sense I get. Sorry, guys, if any of you guys are bear experts.
Yeah, we'll put a disclaimer. Any of the things that we say about how to deal with wild animals, we have not researched or looked into, and we are not wildlife
No, we're
people.
kind of just talking.
We're city girls.
We just be talking. But I'm pretty sure you're like if you have like that's why you're supposed to put like your food in a bag away from the campsite, because like if a bear comes and like does take your food, at least it's just taking your food. It's not like snuffling around like in your tent where you are sleeping because there's food in your tent with
Well,
you.
it's also like, I think one of them, I don't know if it's brown or black bear, that you're supposed to be like big for. Like you're supposed to be like, you're supposed to make noise. And that like scares them off. And then there's one that you're just supposed to be like still for. And then polar bear is over if that bear sees you. Polar bears are like the most vicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Polar bears are mean.
Yeah.
I think grizzlies are also mean. You're not supposed to run away from grizzlies.
Sounds like
sure.
it from the name.
Yeah. Could be in a grizzly situation.
Hey.
So anyway, so the bear leaves.
Yeah, she's fine.
You guys, the dramatics were over
in like a second page.
Like not even a full page. Yeah, like a paragraph and a half.
Halfway through the second page.
Yeah. And yet we still have a bunch of chapter left. So Kaya runs to Sparrow. She gives him a hug, and
he's like shook.
She's like, "Oh my god, like thank goodness he's okay." And Wing Feather is like, "I saw everything. Like Lone Dog came to the rescue. She fought just like a wolf. She saved her puppies, and she saved Sparrow." And she's like, "Everything is good. Everything is safe now." And she's like, "By the way, like if it hadn't been for Lone Dog, you might be like kaput. Like
yeah, you owe your life to a very brave dog.
Owe your life to her. So say thank you." So a few days later, horse training paid off. I wrote #horse training paid off. Because Kaya is hoping that like she's going to be able to bring Lone Dog in to like the village living and like integrate her into the pack. She's not really sure. But she rides kind of out to the den with the travois, and she's hoping that when she puts like the puppies onto it and brings it into the
gentle persuasion.
Yeah, that like Lone Dog will follow her puppies into camp.
She's luring the dog into camp,
which is like a little crazy.
Yeah.
So she sees Tatlo and she picks them all up and she plops them all in there. Which is really crazy.
Cute.
Again,
I want to watch.
Cute, but I was like, again, we'd really just be letting Kaya do whatever she wants. This book, like just letting her wander around. Anyway, she's like, "Hope you'll come and live with me too." And then so she wanders off with them, and she's like calling the whole time. She's like, "Come on, Lone Dog, come on, come on, come on! I took your puppies. I took your puppies." And then, okay, so she gets to the camp, and Lone Dog does come, and she does approach the village. And Kautsua like summons Snowpaws like from the pack.
That sounds messy.
Basically to like confront Lone Dog
and see if it's okay.
Because they have to have a showdown, and Lone Dog has to show that like
she knows Snowpaws
is like
alpha
head bitch.
Yeah,
head dick in charge. So they get into like a standoff with one another, and eventually like Snowpaws is like, yeah.
They like start and they sniff each other, and then I think Lone Dog like cowers a little bit, which is like a sign of deference.
It's like enough.
And he's like, okay,
yeah,
go on in.
But like even Kaya kind of clocks it, like it's kind of like maybe just like for now. Yeah. So she's back, and Lone Dog is like, okay, great, goodbye. So there's more digging. The end of this chapter is really weird, you guys. So Lone Dog gets accepted in the pack, but then we basically hard cut to a couple days later. There's been a gathering of like herbs and different plants and making of cords and talking about the prairie. and all of the lakes and everything. And she's worried that Lone Dog is not going to like follow them whenever they transition like away from the prairie. She's like, I'm concerned that like if we leave, she's not going to want to come with us. And then Kautsua time again, advice time. Once again, hey, granddaughter, something troubling you? Conversation is happening again. And Kaya's like, yeah, do you remember when he told you that Lone Dog sometimes speaks to me? She keeps telling me now that she's going to leave the village and she doesn't want to stay here. And I don't want that. So how can I make her stay? And Catsua's like, here you go. And she gives her some rope and is like, you could tie her up and you could make her stay here. And Kaya's like, no, that reminds me of when I was tied up and made so I couldn't escape all the time. And
Trauma.
I know. She's like, I couldn't do it to her. So she's like, it would make me sad and I couldn't do that. And her grandmother's like, listen to me, I have something to tell you. And she's like, I know it'll be hard, but you should just let her like go her own way. Like,
Yeah.
let her
Kind of Harry and the Hendersons.
yeah, pass on into the sweet, sweet night.
Yeah.
Right?
This is what made me sad.
It is sad. And Kaya is reluctant, but she basically is like, I can respect like what's best
Yeah.
for her. So
Yeah.
then we hard cut to the next morning, and they're getting ready to depart to the prairie, the meadow, and go off, and Lone Dog has indeed vanished.
It made me sad that she didn't get to say goodbye to Lone Dog.
Yeah, I mean, just another animal.
But that would have probably made me like cry.
Yeah. I guess it's like the balance too, right? Because the dog was kind of feral, like how much like balance of like, I guess I liked it because it felt like realistic.
Yeah, that she just fucked off.
Just was like gone. Yeah. And honestly, it feels like maybe a little bit of a mercy for Kaya, because it feels like if she'd had to goodbye, it's almost like give her that false hope that like, please, that almost like that false hope that like the dog will come back and stay longer.
She's her own spirit, though.
She's her own spirit.
She can't be tamed.
Oh, so anyway, Kaya's like thinking and ruminating and being sad. She's like, fucking Raven comes by. By the way, Raven is mentioned in this book. I just didn't mention it earlier because it wasn't that consequential. But he comes back and he's like, heard your dog left you, haha.
But he said it like kind of nicely. She's like,
yeah, he's like, it says like he doesn't sound pleased about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, you still brought it up, jerk.
No.
And Kaya is like, well, she wasn't my dog. She's her own dog. She's her own person. And anyway, she might come later. But it's like, but then it's like, but Kaya knew.
So might your horse and your sister,
later.
he says.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And then she's like telling herself like not to cry, and her like throat's getting all tight and everything. And they're getting over to the travois when all of a sudden somebody is like nipping at her dress. It's Tatlow. Oh my gosh, little guy. He's still here. He's still behind. And he begins to sniff around near some bundles that are like piled up near the horses, like because they're packing up to leave. And he like ruffles around, and then he comes back out. And when he does, in his mouth is carrying Speaking Rain's little doll. So he brings the doll over to Kaya. And she's like, that's not like a toy for you, like he. But then she basically is like, oh my gosh, like I bet that this is like Lone Dog's way of like sending me
a
like
protector.
a sign, like a protector. And she basically is like, we have like lots of like long journeys ahead of us, and I'll be grateful to have like a companion.
And she's like, and you're gonna help me find my sister, I bet.
Yeah. And she's like, I think I've got my own little guardian.
I think this dog is mine.
Yeah, I think this dog is mine. And that's the end.
It was a very sweet book.
It is a sweet book.
Yeah.
I think it was nice. Like, we got a lot. I think that the Kaya books are quite good at balancing, like, the family dynamics with, like, her little inner world and her adventure.
Yes,
like,
I think so, too.
Even the next book, I like that there's a good blend of, like, her actually talking to the people in her life and interacting with them and, like, getting their feedback and their stories, as well as, like, enough time spent, like, away from them, so you also get to, like, peek in Kaya's head and see what she's up to. So
yeah.
All right, y'all, peek into the past. Okay, so Caroline and I both talked about this.
If you remember real quick in the last episode when we complained that the peek into the past had nothing to do with the book and we were confused by the names, don't worry.
because this one is completely everything we should have had for the last one.
It's crazy.
So basically, I'm kind of just gonna read through my notes here because there's a lot. But so first, the birth of a baby was typically like a very major celebration for everybody in the extended part of like a Nimipu family. And babies would receive names that reflected their parents' hopes or dreams for them. So like Kaya's name references like a healer arranging rocks, symbolizing her mom's wish for her to be like gifted potentially in like medicine and things like that, which is funny because Kaya doesn't want that at all. But you know, that's the point.
We all have wants.
You have to. And then I highlighted this part specifically. So it says that names could change throughout a person's life, often after significant events or when a relative would wish to bestow a new name upon them.
Which was helpful and important.
Yes. And then it even says like in the Peek into the Past, it's like as like swan circling did, which would be like a way to say like, oh, you've like achieved kind of like a next level, or like I want the honor of you carrying on my name.
Well, and explains things like cut cheek too. Like, because we were
Yes.
kind of doing like,
Right, was it always
was he
his
born
name?
cut cheek, or did they have to cut his cheek to make the name appropriate, or did he get a cut cheek? Yeah.
Right, yeah. And then you're like,
It's like
okay.
a significant event. Like, I mean, we didn't talk about it, but it's even like Snowpaws is named Snowpaws because he rescued a guy from the snow when he was a puppy, so he had Snowpaws.
Yeah, he had Snowpaws, and he saved him.
I like names being like, I like actually the idea that like, I'm not going to change my name, but I like the idea that like your parents give you a name of their hopes, but as you grow and like they see what your actual skills are, your name could change.
Yeah,
you know.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I think it's just interesting too, like that. Well, I mean, again, I think cut cheek is a great example because it could also be like a name given to you just because of like something that happens.
Yeah,
or it could be something more
event,
significant.
You know?
Yeah, like as like swan circling,
like claw necklace.
Yeah, slay.
One time he traded a really cool necklace and everyone was like, oh,
damn
Mr.
king.
Claw Necklace.
Oh, Claw Necklace, we gotta hang out with this guy. Bro knows exactly what's up. So then it talks about like how basically the first year babies would spend their time in like cradle boards,
which we saw last book, not this book.
Yep, also in the last book, which would make like traveling easier on horseback, so that they could basically tuck that baby. It's like a sicker version of a baby Bjorn. To be honest with you. It's like a board, and then there's like a little sack, and then you put your baby
I like
in
it.
that
I want
sack.
to do that to a baby.
I think that's cool.
Yeah,
it seems way more safe and practical too than like the soft, squishy things we put little babies in.
Well, that's what I was even thinking in the last book when the baby was like being rocketed around. It like I think because it has the wood edges and stuff, if it falls off,
there's like more of a
edges bounce
protective.
first and then it falls.
Honestly, it's kind of like a cat carrier.
Yeah,
like when you have them, like people always love to say like get like the soft shell ones, and I won't. I like the hard shell one because I'm like, if something happens, like if I get in a car accident, God forbid, or something, like no, protect my tiny little fleshy baby's body first.
in a different little shell.
Yeah,
I agree.
Anyway, that's your Celia safety tip for your pets. And then it talks like a lot about how before the horses were introduced, the Nimipu families would travel around on foot between seasonal locations, and that toddlers and young children would walk or run alongside like dogs in like a pack to stay safe, that they would have them as like sort of like guides, which is adorable. Also, it says in the Peek into the Past that, so first of all, important to know that like wolves historically have like ebbed and flowed. This is actually a really interesting thing. When I was growing up in Minnesota, I think we've talked about this before on this podcast, or if we haven't, I'm about to really blow all y'all's minds because I actually just recently bought this game for myself. There's this game called Wolf Quest. And Wolf Quest is all about talking about gray wolf preservation in the United States because of hunting regulations. We killed a bunch of the natural predators off in our country, so like wolf populations were like at historic lows. So we started all of these like breeding programs and conservation programs that similar to like buffalo and bison groups, like through breeding programs we've reintroduced like wolf populations, and it says that specifically like modern Nez Perce people are involved in wolf conservation. But it's very interesting, and Wolf Quest is like this funny game where you can just like you are a wolf and you like form a pack and you do all this stuff, but the whole point is to like educate kids on being like, oh, like, you know, like wolves were like such an essential part of the ecosystem, and like it's okay that they need to like hunt and eat. And by driving down the wolf population, we drove up the deer population, which is also harmful.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I will say, as like a side note, just to cover our bases, we do talk about this in the ranching world, which I'm a part of slightly. It's similarly to the land issue, it's a muddled issue too, because wolves are coming in and murdering cattle. And the U.S. government is supposed to reimburse the cattle, but it can take like 3 to 4 years for that because it's government. That you can be like, hey, wolves came in and ate 4 of my cattle, 4 of my sheep. And they're like, okay, we'll reimburse you. Just like submit like 95 documents and like prove a wolf did it. And so it's kind of like it's good, but like there's mixed feelings about the wolf reintroduction.
Sure, that makes sense. But this is like just the problem, right? In the end,
I know. I mean, if we hadn't ruined them in the first place, we would have learned how to adapt to having them by now.
Oh yeah,
you know, that's kind of the crux of it.
And that, like, you know, I think for a long time I had like complicated feelings about like hunting too, and like I do see the value in like population regulation, because if you're not like, I would rather there be heavy regulation around it than these like free for all things, because it's like you said, honestly, about like the land ownership thing with hunting to a degree, it does become like, well, if you just let people hunt whatever they want, then you can't trust people, because there will always be people who will just take needlessly when they don't need to.
No, you have to get like specific tags to hunt specific species. Like, you have to prove. And another thing, sorry, this is like pro ranching land ownership, but a lot of the biggest like conservation groups out west are like hunting groups, because they're working to make sure like, hey, you can't build this highway or this road here because it's an elk, like it's a mule deer throughway, and if you build a road here, then they can't get to their like spring like mating grounds or their spring like feeding grounds. And so they work really hard to make sure that the population stays stable, and that like also like, okay, so we have the population regrew, we can have people go out and hunt X amount this year. And so it does kind of like keep it from getting overrun, but also like losing it. So it's all a delicate balance, basically.
But I think it's not surprising, because I think we talked about this before, but my uncle is an offshore fisherman, and he's involved in like government programs right now about like fish conservation, because if there's overfishing and like fisheries don't know how to operate properly, but his whole livelihood is killing and selling fish. But like he cares more than like the average person, I would say, about making sure like the ocean is well cared for and well taken care of, and he is like a good steward of that. And I think it makes sense, right? You have to be, the closer you are to the natural order of the world,
but that's the way
you have to be more conscientious of like how they affect you and you affect them, so that you can continue to have as healthy a relationship as you can. Granted, we've completely changed the way that the world is.
But that's, I mean, it's like jumping into the a little bit, and we'll get to it. But the peak in the past, the next one, they talk about how like Nimi Poo would hunt as much salmon as the women could clean, and then once women couldn't clean anymore, they're like, all right, we're done. Yeah. And so it's kind of like going back to that mentality a little bit, like, okay, how much can we do that like everyone has some, but like no one has too much.
Nothing takes away from. Yeah.
So I think we're doing we had a lot of bad years. I think we're doing some things in the right direction for content. Hopefully we keep doing it.
It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. For a while we have been working towards mindful conservation, which I do appreciate.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, the Wolf Education Center is specifically one of the ones that operates, and visitors can go and see 20-acre enclosures of wolves.
We should do that.
I think so. I would love that. I love a wolf. Anyway, so it just says too, like, the last kind of thing that the Peek into the Past talks about is that elders would like pay close attention to children as they were growing up and observe them closely to recognize natural talents in order to encourage like their developments and stuff. So like in the next book we talk about how like Speaking Rain has like such a proficiency in like weaving and working with her hands, and she's very skilled in that way. You know, like Kaya has like a way with animals to some degree, you know, for Josefina. I mean, she's not in this, but like she had like a natural inclination towards like healing, things like that, right? So pay attention to that. And by age 5, kids were like fully introduced into daily rituals and routines and would get like more responsibilities as they matured and showed themselves. And then, so this is helpful, and why we're pretty sure we'll get the vision quest in the last book. It says around age 12 or 13, young people would undertake a vision quest, which would involve fasting, solitude, and prayer. And during vision quest, they're seeking a Waiakin, a guardian spirit, which would first appear to them as a human figure to impart a talent, and then as an animal in order to reveal its true identity to them. And then that visions would guide kids in understanding their strengths and the skills that they could cultivate inside themselves.
And all of this should have been in the last book, Peek into the Past.
Low-key, the spirit guide stuff I think should have been in the first book, because talking about it through every single thing, and like, you know, it's important, and obviously you could look it up, but let's say like
You're 9, and
I mean, what?
the
Well, these
internet
books
isn't.
came out in 2002
Yeah.
originally. So you are relying, I think, more so. Like, we can obviously Google it now and be like, what does that mean? And it's way easier for us to get a million results in 2 seconds. That's why we'll Google stuff on the podcast. But if I was reading these books to my kids in 2002,
And they ask you questions, you
and
have
you're
no
like,
idea.
I don't know. Also, interestingly, this is just a bonus fact. All the other books before Kaya were released over the course of 2 years.
Oh, really?
But her books were all released in the same year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, all together, basically.
Oh, I thought they all came in pack, but I think I was just late to the game for everyone except for Kaya.
That's fair.
And Kit, maybe.
But no, yeah, I was,
that might be why I only have one Kit book.
it would make more sense.
Yeah.
Like, why some people don't have, like, the complete collection.
That makes sense, because I like, have read all the Kit books, but I
Yeah.
only own one. I was kind of wondering, like, if they came in packs, why I didn't, but that makes sense.
But I think it's because this is just speculation. This is not what it said. But, when I was reading about it. But yeah, it just said that they were all released within the same year as
Cool.
opposed to, like, a slower release. I'm guessing because so much of it influences
Yeah.
each one. So anyway, that's the end of the Peek into the Past. Thoughts, Caroline?
I really liked this one. I thought it was sweet. I thought it was like a nice change of pace. And I thought it was a good way to show Kaya growing and maturing a little bit. Like, it's similar to like Felicity learning patience with the horse. It's like Kaya learning responsibility with the dog. And also learning, like, which she kind of forgets in the next book, but learning how to let go of situations that you can't, like,
Control.
Yeah.
The outcome of.
I really liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was like one of the better paced books too. Which,
Yeah,
again, that's why I think they
100%.
can throw in the 5th chapter sometimes. Like, it could be the same amount of pages, but it just sometimes feels weird when we have one chapter that's like 20 pages and 3 chapters that are 10. Like, why do we just not have 4 15-page chapters or 5 10-page chapters?
Well, because I agree, because honestly, it makes more sense because you get the chapter that's mostly just about 2 hawks going off, and then the next chapter about being like the introduction of the den and the boys and the lead up to the bear.
Well, from a writing perspective, I think the 5-chapter structure makes more sense because it's introduction to the problem, like escalation, peak escalation, denouement. You know, like, that's kind of how it goes. It's like building on the problem, peak of the problem, down.
Yeah.
So that's just I write.
Just like something a
But
little bit of a writer.
I liked it. I thought it was
Yeah.
cute. I love the dog stuff. I'm glad
Yeah.
we've had all your horse girl stuff, and we know I kind of glommed onto Sombrita, the goat, because it reminded me of it, but I think this was cute.
I thought it was cute too. I agree. I think I like that we get her relationship with a different animal that's not a horse. And the responsibility narrative throughout it, because I think, like, we can all relate to, like, we all use the animals in our lives, whether we want to admit it or not, as like crutches in some way of like, oh, like cuddling or like emotional support. And like, you know, I think it's cute to have it as like a catalyst for one of our girls because, and we've joked about it on this podcast, so often like the American girls get an animal and it's just fucking it's not important. It's literally like a plug for a merch drop.
I do like how they sneaky still gave a doll and an animal in these books.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Like, I think this was a much more fun way to have an animal like companion though, too. Like, even that, like, the main dog, like lone dog, not being, because I feel like that would have been more impractical, right? If at the end of this it was like, and then she became a normal dog.
No, it makes sense that Tatlo is like the dog
I
that
thought
she
that was
keeps.
cute,
Yeah,
though, too. And it's like Tatlo is young and will like get to grow, and like Kaya will be able to like nurture that dog into the pack, which is again is like a responsibility point. And I feel like maybe Tatlo will go with us on our vision quest. Well, we'll see. But
we'll see. But guys,
anyway, I liked it.
you like this?
Yeah.
And if you guys like this, then share it with the dog freak in your life.
Share this with somebody you would go to a sweat lodge with.
Share this with the boy who you have complicated feelings for.
Share this with somebody you know is holding a deep, deep grief over something they feel guilty about that they did a while ago.
And send this to the cutest little puppy that you know.
Yeah.
Puppies can listen to podcasts.
Show it
too.
to them. Set it up on an iPad. Make that puppy an iPad baby.
Yeah, we have high voices and dogs like that.
Dogs will pay attention.
Yeah, they'll watch American Girl
They'll
Talk
be
on
interested
YouTube.
to see it on YouTube.
They'd love to.
Watch it on YouTube.
Watch it with your dog.
And then drop a like.
Yeah,
And
like,
a comment.
subscribe, like it, rate
Subscribe
us,
it. Turn on
review.
that bell notification.
And if you don't know,
Ding,
we
ding,
do
ding.
polls for every episode. Celia, you are beating Felicity as alternate horse girl, but losing to Kaya.
I mean, fair enough. Although I'm just saying, Kai and I have about the same amount of horse right now.
Yeah, that's so true.
So
At this point, Felicity actually has the most. No, not even yet.
I mean, Kai for sure has more of a horse acumen than I do.
Yeah, but you both.
Felicity also
Ownership-wise,
technically does, but I think I just have like a
you had an appreciation.
swagger.
though.
Also, I voted for myself, so.
Yeah, but you're still winning red too, so someone else voted for you too. But guys, thank you so much. We will be back next week with Kaya shows the way.
Does
Until
she?
Then. No.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Bye.
bye.